Welcome. It's facts you don't know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, well, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
Rich man despised her for her color. Without imagining whom she really was, she put him in a very bad situation. Throughout my career as a bartender in different bars, I have never learned such a profound teaching as being humble, being polite, respecting others, and knowing how to listen. For years, I had worked in a luxurious hotel owned by a city tycoon. He always knew how to mock his achievements, his surname, and his success, which until now had smiled at him. This man chose who could enter his luxurious hotel and who could not, and when he was in a different situation. For example, if any dark-skinned ruler wanted to stay, he had instructed us to say that there were no rooms available. But he only did it because he had said that only people of very distinguished reputation and race would enter his hotel. I remember that when I arrived, he announced that in the city, he had the best hotel, that due to expansion plans, a bar was endearing, and for that reason, he was looking for the best. At that time, I believed that this was my opportunity because I had painstakingly shown him that not only did I know how to prepare the most exquisite cocktails, but that I could innovate in new flavors. For a year, I worked for him and built a faultless reputation. However, one last event would change everything. I didn't know why he was so arrogant. I couldn't take it anymore and asked for my resignation. As expected, he said he could hire someone better than me. I just watched him and didn't care. I got ready to take my things and just left after I got paid. It didn't take long for me to find another similar job. Of that man, I did not hear anything and started working in a small bar that, although small, was very cozy. I had to have as a boss a beautiful woman with dark skin. She, unlike that man, stood out for the simplicity of her dress, but also for her humility. There were 17 of us who worked there, all white-skinned, and there were no problems. Everyone treated me well, I was friendly to everyone, and there was a unique harmony at work. In the first instance, I tried to do my job well, without demonstrating anything more than what I knew how to do. The owner, who was dark-skinned, had enough money to be on vacation somewhere in the world. However, there she was, sitting at the bar, helping the other bartenders, welcoming customers and collaborating with everything, as if she were just another worker. She was the first to arrive at the business, and despite being beautiful, she spoke equally to everyone. Everything was going well until one night, apparently the news had reached the ears of those who least thought. Yes, nothing more, nothing less than my previous boss. I could never have imagined that the fame of our bar would go so far and to reach his ears. We really had become an eminence. It happened one night when it was supposed to be my official presentation. We had a great time and we were only an hour away from closing. There were still many people and they wanted to meet me. Then he came, arrogant as always, sat at the table and didn't even recognize me. Then he noticed that dark-haired woman sitting in a corner as she always used to. He walked up to the bar, pulled out his thick wallet and yelled, "Bartender, I'm going to buy drinks at this bar for everyone except for that dark woman who's over here." Hearing it, it was very outraged. But I looked into the eyes of my boss and she nodded her head, making a gesture of approval, as if to say, "Do it." But I didn't worry. I took the money and started serving the free cocktails to the whole bar, except for the brunette woman. Instead of being upset, she simply looked at the arrogant man and said thank you. I was surprised and also felt helpless, but to my surprise, this infuriated the rich and arrogant man. So again, he took out his wallet and said, "Waiter, this time I'm going to buy bottles of wine and food for this whole bar, except for that woman who was sitting in her corner." This, he said, pointing to my boss. I simply took the man's money and watched her. She wanted to see how far she would allow her an offense like this. I had the food served and arranged for the free wine to be served in the bar, except for my boss, as the rich man had ordered. Therefore, when she finished serving food and drinks, I would look at that beautiful woman who remained calm, and after a few seconds, she smiled at that man and said thanks again. That, unsurprisingly, angered him the most, and desperately approached the counter and said, "What about that black woman? I bought food and drinks in the bar for everyone except her." And instead of being angry, just sit there. She smiles at me and says, "Thank you? Is she crazy?" The rich and arrogant man asked me, to which I replied, "Of course not, sir." He stared at me for a moment, seemed to recognize me, and making a half-dismissive gesture said, "What good is this bar that everyone wants to come to it?" "Well, there are black people here, and that makes them look bad. I would like to speak to the administrator. I have a deal that might interest you, a business alliance. Could you tell him that I'm here at that moment?" I understood my boss's answer. It would be the weapon that would put an end to the arrogance of this rich and arrogant man who, seeing himself bankrupt, came to claim to have a partnership with the bar owner. I would have thought that if you can't beat the devil, you should join him, but this would not turn out to be expected. I was about to tell the owner that this man wanted to talk to her, but he took my arm and repeated me again. "Hey, are you sure that woman is not crazy?" he said. This while looking at the dark-haired woman, my boss, and he showed her a mocking smile. But he was stunned when I said, "She is not crazy, sir. She is the owner of this bar."
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.